Hello! Hello. It's 12:30 on a Thursday here in California, so it is time for a Facebook Live. Yay, I'm so glad you're here. I'm happy to be here. We are talking today about the topic of the ounce of prevention. So that's what we do every Thursday at 12:30. The ounce of prevention is my weekly insights to keep the pounds away. You can find that on StephanieFineMD.com. That's F-E-I-N. That's how you spell that one. Although if you did F-I-N-E, you'd get there too, I believe. I think I have that set up. Anyway, I'm so happy you're here, and I wanted to talk to you about that. So the topic for today is near and dear to my heart, which is the advantages of midlife for weight loss. And that seems like it can't be true, but it is. And I gave 5 examples, 5 things that I think are the advantages. And people in midlife, a lot of us, we've been through, got to get to those years. So you've been through stuff in life, and you've gotten some skill. And you may not even realize it, but you do. So I'm going to go over the 5 real quick just to list them. And then I want to dive deep into 1 or 2 of them. I could talk forever on all of these because they are so interesting and integral part of weight loss journey and weight maintenance. But we'll limit it to 1 or 2 today. So if you're around, let me know because I would love to see you and say hi. So the 5 that I talked about in the ounce of prevention are: know yourself. You know it's up to you. Okay, so you know yourself because you've been around a while. You know it's up to you at this point. You have control over your environment because you're a grown-up. And you're more realistic. And the last one is you have more patience. So this is compared to sort of your 20-year-old self. When you're trying all those diets and you look gorgeous, but you think you have, 5 pounds to lose. And if you just went back to 20, you'd be thrilled. But that's the big difference. If you think about the difference in how you felt as a 20-year-old versus now, there's a big difference. And these realistic and patience and sort of things factor in there. So they're really important. So the one that I really would love to talk about first is the realistic one. And that is important to me for a couple of reasons. One is, I'm clicking here to see. Okay, good. The reason why the realistic one is important, and I want to talk about it here, like I said, I could talk about all of them, but is the goal setting. So when we're, when we're younger, we have different expectations for what could really happen in our lives. Not that we can't make it happen. There's wonderful youth energy that could make things happen, that you never thought possible. But getting to a certain number may not be the same for you now as it was then. So if there's someone in high school and they were perfect at 110, and now you've had a couple kids and, life has happened, and 110 just doesn't make sense anymore. But 10 pounds off would be amazing. And then maybe those last 5, that there's a number, and you may end up at 120. Now, I never want to take away from people who want to get to a certain number and can safely. That is totally fine. And I've actually had experience with that where I thought a number was, a little too low, and they did it and it's great and no problem. So I always suspend my discussion of a number until we see what happens. But I also know it's really a great thing to choose a number that is realistic. And what I mean by that is easy for living. So a number that you can get to easily. And what I mean by easily is not, not difficult. There you go. But not painful. So not, I take out every carb I've ever thought of, and I only have, I don't celebrate anything or go anywhere, that kind of thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in your life, you figure out a way that your food balances your metabolism, and you're not hungry, It's not, you get to have things that you enjoy. So that's what I'm talking about. If you're in that space, go for it. Go for whatever number makes sense. For many, many, many of us, there's a number that's a little higher than we would have liked in our 20s, but it objectively looks and feels fantastic. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, when we can get to something that we balance. So we're balancing our lifestyle and the number that we would really like to be. So that's what I'm talking about, being realistic. And I think that comes with age. We sort of get it, that fighting and depriving ourselves and everything for the last 8 pounds, the trade-off isn't there. So that's one of the things, of the benefits that come with midlife when you're trying to lose weight. A nice realistic goal that is easily attained in terms of your lifestyle is livable and enjoyable. So that's one of them. The other one, there might be two more. The empowering one is really important to me too. And I had said that it's my favorite one. The one, it's all up to you. Now, I said this in the ounce of prevention, and this is what I mean. This idea that we aren't going to be saved. That Prince Charming isn't, I don't hear his horse, galloping down. And many of us have realized this at different points in our life. And what I want to say about that is that there's a grief around it. Really, a grief that I really was sold about a bill of goods that someone was going to come and rescue me, and now I realize that that's not true, and I have to do this all myself. That's putting on the big girl pants or big boy pants, and it's a thing. It's an actual thing. Usually there is some difficulty, transition around that. And you could, if you look back, you might be able to see it. Sometimes it's at 25, sometimes it's at 35. It could be with life events, but it happens to a lot of us, and then we finally figure it out. And then it's the good news, bad news of it's up to us. And when it's up to you, so in many other aspects of life, that can mean a bunch of different things. But for weight loss and food choices, knowing it's up to you is very freeing. So we're not looking to a diet guru person to tell us exactly what to eat. We are not looking to our neighbor and see what they eat and how they maintain their body weight. We're not looking to anyone else but ourselves. And we know that the decisions that we make are the ones that affect us. Now we can get bigger and say those choices can affect our family members and everyone else, but I'm just talking about, especially when I can talk about weight, that how it affects our weight. So it is really empowering, that's the word, when you know that your decisions affect you. And when you have that and you're taking responsibility, oh my goodness, you are on your way. You are on your way, because the decisions that you make, they will affect you and affect you and affect you. Now, what I just was thinking about is that time when you feel out of control. That's a little bit different. I'm talking about the idea of making decisions for your food ahead of time in the moment is a little difficult, right? Because we're usually dealing with, if you're having a difficult time making good choices in the moment, that's a whole different discussion, because we're talking about hunger playing a factor, maybe emotional distress causing, needing comfort. So that's a little different. But this idea of a diet or a person or anything will save me, it's just not the case. So that's why I love that one. And the last one I want to talk about is the environmental control, because it is a little controversial. And what I mean by that is, as a grown-up, obviously when you're growing up as a kid, you're at the mercy of, the people who are bringing in the food, and now you're the one doing that. Now I know that, if you're living with a family and you have a partner and maybe there are kids there, that you have to take all that into account. But I still challenge you to think about that in a different way, because when you're making healthy choices for yourself, that means the healthy choices are being made for your family too. So I understand sort of depriving them of chocolate may feel like a really big thing, but the truth is no one's, fainting dead away from the fact of not having chocolate. Now, again, I'm not saying that that's isn't something to negotiate with your family members, but you live there too. And this is the part about being middle-aged. I think people are a little more willing to be put in that position. Certainly not everyone, and moms in particular are often, really want to please. And so this one can be difficult, but I definitely challenge you to look at your food environment at home and see what can actually be done to help you, because you deserve the help. You really do. So think about that deeply, okay? That you are a member of the family. You are allowed to have limitations. Okay, so I will tell you one of mine right off the bat. Barbecue pop chips, okay? Have you seen those? They're like pop, they're like potato chips, but they're not fried. So they're like a little bit better, and they are. And the barbecue flavored ones, OMG. If I and they're, you get those big bags at the market. If I have a big bag in here and there's anything like tuna salad or egg salad or something like that, the whole bag is gone. I know that about myself. So, hey, Valerie, I love barbecue chips too. So what I have learned is that I can't have a thing without knowing that I'm going to have it, right? So if I've decided it's okay to have it, and I will say pop chips are definitely better than Doritos. So I can certainly make that decision, and if I've decided that it's part of my plan for the week, go for it. But if it has not been part of my plan for the week, and there they are, they're a goner. Now my fantastic husband knows this. And we've experimented a little bit, but it doesn't work. So we talked about it, and he is willing to have a different flavor pop chip in the house, which by the way works for me. It's the barbecue ones that are something. So yes, it is a limitation, and it is sad that my husband cannot have barbecue pop chips in the house because he is married to me. That's the truth. There's other good things that he has based on being married to me, but not being able to have pop chips in the house is one of them. So that's okay. Now, certainly you figure it out for your family how that works, but it isn't necessarily the case that everyone gets to have everything they always want, in the house or whatever. That includes me, but everything's balanced. So that's the environment and control one. I want to just put that out there. I want you to think about that one, about that you get to make some decisions too about what's okay to be in your environment or not. And that's a grown-up thing. So great. It has been our time together. I'm so happy to be with you and be able to talk to you about this. And I want you to have a fantastic, fantastic rest of your day. And think about all these benefits of being in midlife, because there are a lot of them. You've been through stuff. You've learned some stuff. You go get them. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.